What's up, Chipper Chaps? This is Chipper Chap Chat,
Super chat, chat.
episode
Episode
148, apparently.
148, yes.
Talk about not Infinity War, but
Endgame.
something called that one.
So fuck.
It's gonna be a good one.
It's gonna be
a good one.
best one.
What's up, Chipper Chaps? This is Chipper Chap Chat,
Super chat, chat.
episode
Episode
148. That's what the number is. We're gonna be talking about Thanos, Daddy Status. We're gonna be talking about the sequel to 23 other films? 23 or 22 other films?
22, I think. I think this is, wait, is this the 22nd film? Or is this the 23rd one?
I think this is the 23rd one.
Okay.
Anyway, we're going to be talking about that movie, talking about the ins and outs of it, spoiler review.
Discussion.
We're going to talk about, things we like, things we didn't like, things that we look forward to in the future, questions we have, maybe even questions you have. No, actually, because we didn't ask anyone any questions, but
You can ask questions after,
you can ask questions after we post this video.
and then we
We'll
can do
address
follow-up
those questions
episodes.
next time, because I know I have some, and I bet you have some.
Yeah. I've got we've all got ideas.
So many fucking ideas.
I love it. I love it.
So many ideas. I actually think it would be interesting to go back, look at what we said would happen,
Yeah.
see what things that we got right, what things we got wrong, and do like whoever got the most things right is a champion, and whoever got the most things wrong has to eat a tuna sandwich.
I'm fine with that. That's a pretty... Honestly, I think in regards to a loser having to do something, eating a tuna sandwich isn't a bad thing.
Yeah, it's not even the worst thing
I kind of like... See, those steaks are good.
Right.
It's like winner is just champion, loser, tuna sandwich.
Yeah. That's the kind of steaks that
I'm into. I mean, other than actual steaks.
Oh, steaks. The winner is a champion and eat a steak. How about that?
Ooh, if there's steak involved, then I really want to be champion then. Earlier, I just kind of wanted to be champion just to avoid the tuna sandwich. But now that I know there's a steak involved, I'm way into it.
Yeah, it's like the winner gets treated a free steak.
I wish I had a filled beverage here, but we started before I had a filled beverage. And now I'm sad for a multitude of reasons.
Because I don't know how long this episode's going to take to record.
11
and for that long of time, you're not going to have a beverage.
Yeah, it's going to take a Dragon Ball Z episode length of time.
Yeah. So the 5 minute in Dragon Ball, which is like 4 episodes, that's like, that's a good 80 minutes.
Do you think you can talk for 2 minutes straight while I went and got a drink? Just fill the space with Chamba time?
I could try. Or I could just like edit this afterwards anyways.
No, I think you should just try to talk for 2 minutes. Hey, just talk about how many times you've seen it.
All right, sure, I can do that.
With how many people? That should take you 2 minutes.
I could definitely do that. I could do some show and tell. I could do some show and tell. I'm not going to time it. Anyways, guys, I caught Endgame like 3 times. First time was on Wednesday. Evening session. Second time Wednesday because we got it early in Australia. Australia rocks that way sometimes though. I caught the second session on Thursday, and that was the IMAX session. So that was a different experience because it was IMAX. Also, it was 3D. And then I caught it again on Saturday. I might see it again. Not sure. There's high chance because we'll talk about it. But I also got one of these things that the cinema had. Hoyt's Cinema in Australia. They got this. It's like a popcorn tin. There you go. Popcorn tin. A for the Avengers Endgame. It's got a bunch of faces and all that jazz. Yeah. only in theaters. Say theaters, but we call it cinema. I have no idea. There's a big, it's embossed and everything. So yeah, 3 times in the cinema, worth it. I think Royce has seen it once, maybe, not sure. Hopefully he'll get to see it again. But this episode should be pretty fun. We actually haven't talked about this film at all between the two of us because we wanted to hold it off for this specific recording. Normally we do that with films, so this should be good. And he's back, you can see. Oh. Oh, we lost him. Hopefully he'll join again.
Hello?
Hello, your camera's off.
I'm looking at it though.
You're not appearing on the screen here. There you go, now you're back.
There we go. I
Okay,
don't know what happened.
that was weird.
Anyhow, I think that was less than 2 minutes. I think
That was pretty good.
Basically, The Flash.
Yeah, you did a really good job. I basically just talked about how we haven't talked about this film. This is the first time we'll be talking about it between the two of us.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I showed off the popcorn tin.
Oh yeah, did you show him your Captain America cup?
I didn't because it's not here.
Dang it!
I know. I actually wasn't prepared as I thought I was because I was gonna wear the Infinity Gauntlet the whole time.
You should have. You should.
I know, but it's loud and annoying. But
The gauntlet is annoying.
yeah, because when you move the fingers, it makes the whole Thanos gauntlet sounds.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I love it though. But yeah, now that you're back, we can start the talkies.
The walkies.
I guess usually how we start these off is we talk about our thoughts without having to spoil anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's going to be difficult with this particular movie because it starts off with spoilers.
No. Well, I mean, like, we don't talk about the film. Like, what are your thoughts when it finished? How did you feel? And stuff like that. Before you walked in, how are you feeling when you walked out? Were you happy? Were you satisfied by it? Thumbs up, and then we'll go into the.
I would say I was satisfied, but I had a couple of very big questions that were making it difficult for me to fully embrace where we leave off at the end of the movie.
Okay.
I think that in our theorizing of how the movie could go, we came up with a cleaner solution on how to deal with the issue.
Yeah.
Whereas I think the solution that they ended up going with in the movie
it basically
leaves more questions than answers, and also sets up maybe a more potentially devastating result than even any of the stuff that they had to be on the Sokovia Accords for.
All right. No, without spoiler.
Yeah.
I enjoyed my entire time in the cinema watching this.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a fun ride.
Start, second act, third act, all enjoy. There's plenty of questions in the end, but it's almost like a lot of these, I'm sure I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt, and a lot of the choices that they made are for the follow-up, are for the future of Marvel, so that they can do, like, the answers will be the actual questions will be answered, if anything.
Maybe.
I'm hoping, I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt. Hopefully it's not just like, oh yeah, we did stuff that we can't really explain, but it was for this movie.
It's not even about it being explained. We just can't talk about what I'm talking about until we get to the
But I would highly recommend it if you've been following the Marvel films up to that point.
Yeah, you're probably going to need a couple of viewings.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
this
going on.
This film is so loaded, but I think it's a fan service film. If you're a fan of the films, you're gonna enjoy this.
Yeah, unlike Infinity War, to some degree, I do feel like you're really missing like half the experience if
Yes.
you've not seen any of the other movies.
Like, I think you could probably walk into this one having watched Infinity War and get an idea of it, but
Mhm.
you'll only benefit if you've seen more of the MCU films.
Yeah, for a lot of the like
Yeah.
little Easter eggs and stuff.
Absolutely.
Like, because they don't really hold your hand through some of the
No, they're
references.
not. They're not. And that's
They
what
just
I kind of
happen,
like
and
it.
if you know, you know.
I kind of like that.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, highly recommended. Loved it.
Yeah. 'Twas good.
So now that the non-spoiler aspect is done, let's
Talk about the film for realsies.
let's get into the spoilers, this
For
discussion
realsies.
aspect of it.
Yeah, okay, so let's talk about some of these questions
Okay.
before we can get into the just glowing about all the awesome stuff that happens.
Questions are good because that way, like, if we get out of because it's not even a negative. I don't think questions are a negative. I think questions is good because it means we're still having questions means I'm still interested. I'm definitely interested. If anything, I might be more interested because where are you going to go from here?
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's well. One thing. Okay, so the big spoiler out of the way. They figure out a way to bring everybody back, and I feel like that moment feels earned.
Yeah,
because they show you the stakes of how awful everything was as a result of them being gone and yada,
and
yada.
the struggle to even achieve it.
Right, but they do though also say they hint at things like Thanos's plan being beneficial. Like Cap says he can see more whales and the oceans are cleaner and there's less boats.
Because
and
he's
yada,
Mr.
yada.
Bright Side of things, right?
Right. But then, being that there's a 5-year time skip, and then they bring everyone back. The world's population has had 5 years to like move on with their lives. People are like starting new families, and people's homes are being like bought and sold. And
there's a cleanup.
It's more than a cleanup. It will be. It would be devastating.
Oh, absolutely! Like having everyone, like having half the population,
you have half the jobs
disappear, right?
Yeah.
So for the 5 years, people have already either moved on, people have already, not just adapt,
economically,
like
not just people, but like
everything,
and
they showed what the world looks like in 5 years' time, and it's not pretty, really.
Yeah. People are not picking up trash and shit. Like kids are all like goth.
The cities look garbage. There are some areas like there's parts that look neat, but I was like, if they had shown, say, nature, I'm sure nature might have been striving, like, prospering more. Who knows? They didn't really show a lot of that.
Like, are we supposed to go with every one of Peter's supporting cast got snapped so that they can all still be in high school?
Here's the thing. I think the main guys that we know got snapped. There's going to be a handful that obviously aged 5 years.
But it seems so coincidental.
I know. That's why. I know. That's why it was. My thing is, why did it have to be 5 years?
College now, and Peter's still in high school. That's interesting to me.
That's why it was. That's why, like, to me, I was like, that just makes things a little bit messy.
Right. Like, it's a weird place to leave the Earth.
Right.
And not only the Earth, but everywhere in the world is going to have to deal with. Like, we had to downsize because we didn't know if those people were ever coming back. We we were there for 5 years. Half the jobs are available.
They definitely downsized.
And now we're suddenly like, okay, now we're double populated because everyone's back.
Now we're back to what we used to be, but that was 5 years ago.
And half of us are confused because they've not had to deal with any of it.
Exactly. Also, not just that, the 5 years, the people that were there for that 5 years time are now like, you're suddenly back. Don't get me wrong, I'm happy that you're back, but shit's changed.
Right.
You have to adapt now. We have to adapt to you being back. So there's a lot of
it's a weird place to leave the MCU.
Yeah, and it's an interesting place because it's almost like I don't know. Right now, I'd like to see where it goes from here, and I'm sure I'm hoping that what's the next film is Spidey.
Yeah.
So hopefully
Which
we'll see
the epilogue.
Okay, that means that we're gonna see what that means then.
Also means that Sony really did kind of put out a spoiler when they put that first Far From Home trailer out, and it had the check from Just Pepper Potts on it.
Mm-hmm.
Really ended up being because there was no Tony.
Right.
Uh,
But like that's not a negative for me. That whole thing is more just like, what are you gonna do now?
What do you do now?
But what other
I don't
questions? What are some of the other questions that you had?
why, when they have the Infinity Gauntlet on, it basically murders you when you put it on.
Mm-hmm.
Like we saw, it was like shredding the Hulk. Hulk is one of the strongest Avengers.
Yeah, Tony.
Shredding his body. Tony's just chilling. He's having a whole conversation. He slowly gets to talk shit to Thanos.
Yeah.
And
then
it would have been cooler
Yeah.
had he been like the energy taking over his body. Like we saw what it was doing to like Star-Lord. He was half God and his face was shredding apart.
I know.
His eyes were changing color. Do that with Iron Man. Even like make his voice go all synchy.
Yeah,
so
I gotta
he-
say,
like,
there's a whole
I am Iron Man.
Something,
and like
right?
light spewing out of his fucking eyeballs and shit.
There's a thing about like consistency that's always all over the place.
But they established the rule. They were consistent until Iron Man.
I know. And I think they just wanted to make it so that it's that Iron Man moment. I get it.
I don't know. I think that's bullshit.
I
Because
definitely
you can
think
have
it's
that
bullshit.
moment. You can have that moment and still have.
Yeah, absolutely. You could have been. Honestly, it could have been way more badass too because of it.
I think it would have been more badass if they had him have to struggle to do it, like to pull the force together to even snap. Because
I would say nitpicking a little further than that. Once it was absorbed onto his actual suit. So what they're telling me with it is that so long as it's moving on his suit, it's not affecting him. I figured if they're all on you, they're affecting you regardless of where they are in your gauntlet.
They showed it with Hulk putting on the gauntlet that had the gems in it. It was immediately just.
That's what I mean. What I'm saying is, as soon as it transferred onto Tony Stark's suit, shouldn't it have been already affecting him that time? Yet it wasn't. It only affected him as soon as it went all on his actual fingers.
They showed the like lights coming up him. He just wasn't reacting to it.
He needed to react to it.
He didn't react to it, and it wasn't nearly as intense as it should have been, considering what they showed us it looked like when the Hulk did it. Also, problem solved. Just have fucking Carol Danvers pick up the gauntlet.
Yeah, that was a weird one. I don't know why she hadn't. It's almost like her idea. Yeah, she's supposed to be the strongest one. There's a lot of things where I'm like, okay, it's done for convenience sake, obviously. Like, she's not going to be the main. You can't have her win this one for the story purpose. But if you're going to not do it that way, why would... All right, seeing this, right, I've seen a bunch of like reviews. If you're going to have Carol in the MCU, you should have placed her in after this movie.
Why is that?
Because by having her, again, by you bringing that up, having her in this film now, she could have easily have solved that aspect. Whereas if she wasn't present in this time, it would make sense why she wouldn't have won it, because she wasn't here.
Right. I think during that relay where they're throwing the gauntlet and people different have it and they're doing different shit, Tony should have been like, bruh, she's the strongest one. She demonstrated, like, it could have been his plan to have it happen.
Yeah.
And have her do it, or have Nebula do it, and then it's connected to the comics,
right.
And it shows
the connection between Nebula and Thanos as well.
Right.
I suppose. Yeah.
I think it would have been more impactful. Granted, they wanted Tony to go out in a heroic way or whatever, but I feel like he could have died in the battle.
And still be as heroic?
Without
absolutely.
him being the one that does the snap.
Absolutely. But in a
Why
sense.
didn't Natasha get a funeral? That's another question.
Yeah, I mean,
The Hulk threw a bench, and they were like, "Good enough."
well, they were angry. You know, Cap
Where's all
had
Tony's
tears.
fucking friends?
Yeah, I mean, they had that little thing in the end where they were by the lake. It was Clint with Wanda.
Right. Where's the rest
I don't
of
know.
them? You know,
For an
I'm
original, yeah.
some of the questions I have are good questions.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
But those are some questions where it's like, if
because
you're
like
gonna go
they
that far, why
established
don't you go that far?
they established the rule of
Yeah,
time travel in this movie is, if you go back automatically just by going back, you're creating a new timeline.
Oh no, you're creating
But
the
it will only splinter off if you take one of the gems out and you
yes.
don't bring it back.
Yeah.
So Cap at the end, we presume, did everything perfectly because he is Cap, and he delivered everything back to where it needed to go. I'm assuming including Mjolnir,
Mm-hmm.
but definitely not apparently including his shield, because he gives a brand new shield to his predecessor at the end, which I don't know where he got it, if he put everything back where it's supposed to go, because his shit got broked.
Here's I have a thing regarding that.
Yeah.
Because you know how they say if you alter something in the past, you're not really changing the future. You're making that pocket thing. Right. So if he appeared in that future, if he appeared in their present future, that means he was always there.
Yeah. That means that
means
Cap has been there.
He's been there from the very start, meaning he couldn't change anything, because he knew that if he changed anything throughout that time, it would change everything to begin with.
But
so
he automatically did.
Right.
Because he brought him a shield that didn't exist.
Unless he actually made another shield when he went back. Unless another shield was acquired when he went back. Because
but he can only acquire it through nefarious means, because there's only one Cap shield.
Sure, there is only one Cap shield. And it got broken in that weird future. That's why I was like, there's a lot of questions. I don't know whether or not anything's going to be answered.
Like, they brought... Okay, so one, you got time travel. So this is a problem.
Time travel is always a tricky thing.
It's a problem only because they did it in a way where they can duplicate it, because all they needed was Pym particles. And Tony figured it out and then gave them the stuff to do it. So there should automatically be no like, oh, well, Tony's dead. What do you mean Tony's dead? We just figured out he figured out time travel so that Tony doesn't have to be dead.
And by removing him from the past, you're not actually altering. And by removing him from the past, you're not actually altering your present future.
Exactly. All you got to do is get the Tony from right before he died.
Because otherwise, if
stay in Jersey until the fight is over, and then after the funeral, he can show up and be like, "Hey, what's up, guys? I didn't snap."
Time travel is always tricky because, I mean, I think if specific things, I know like in the Dragon Ball timeline, let's go with the Dragon Ball here for a second. They've got a different set of rules for time travel than other things.
They're closer to these rules, though. This is
yes,
like
absolutely.
Rules.
Yeah. Which is like, if you alter something from the past, you're not fixing your future. You're just creating something else. But that future will still play out the way it's gonna be. So you can exist. Two of you can exist in one time. Or you can kill yourself from this future, but you're still alive because you came from, like, that future is now your past.
Right.
So you're still cool. But that's why I was like, when Nebula shot herself,
right,
the past,
she didn't automatically disappear.
No, of course not.
Because that Nebula is from a different timeline.
Exactly. And that wasn't her past. That was the future, essentially. That was somebody else's.
Right.
So.
But they've created a future somewhere in some timeline. The one where they got Nebula and she died.
Yeah. That future.
In that timeline, there is no snap. So Tony's fine. Everybody's fine because there's no snap. Because they killed Thanos years before the battle even happened.
By doing that, now there's another gate, essentially. There's like that's an alternate thing. Meaning, if you ever, like story-wise, in the story future, they can easily just snatch somebody from there.
it would seem that way,
Yes,
right?
it could.
Which is why I just think that a little bit they shouldn't have done time travel as a thing that had a renewable
Yep.
resource, because
You
there's
should,
too many
yeah,
reasons-
absolutely. I agree. It should, if it was time travel, it should have only been this once.
right. It should have been a thing where
Yep.
like we get the time
Mhm.
stone and we use the time stone
And
to do
that's
it,
it.
and that's it because
Yep,
the stones are
that's
gone
it.
after.
Because once you place them back, that's it. There's no more going back. Because
Yeah.
now that it's open to time travel, it can just be abused story-wise, and I don't want that.
Right. Like once Tilda Swinton gives
Mhm.
Hulk the time stone, they don't need to do any more of the mission. They have the time stone now. They literally can just go to the like I don't understand why there wasn't a version of the script where the sacrifice was, even if you have Tony do the sacrifice where he's the one who snaps,
Sure.
the thing should have been to get everybody back to the Wakandan battle
Mhm.
rather than having half the team on Titan and the other half on Wakanda. They should have snapped to get everyone back to that Wakandan battle and bring everybody there, all the wizards, all the Valkyries with the Pegasus and all that shit. Bring them back to the moment in Infinity War, because that's when all the shit was together, and then stop him from getting the stone. Then snap him there.
I wonder though, is the reason why they couldn't just take the time stone and bring it to the Wakanda thing, because he already had the time stone at that point, because he was in his Titan. Thanos was in Titan at that point before he arrived on
that
planet.
was happening
But
at the same
yeah,
time.
I is it because the stones can't exist within its own time? Like you can't have more than one time stone at a time. I thought there's only one set of. I thought there's only six stones, and that's it.
Well, there is, but they've proven that the stones exist in several in each version of the universe or whatever, because they went to an alternate timeline where Cap fought Cap in 2012 and all this different shit.
But at that point, from their future,
Loki
they had
gets
no more
away
stones. Right,
from
he goes
space
around with
with
the
the
Tesseract.
Tesseract.
Yeah. And then they go back further to get the Tesseract again.
Right, but that doesn't undo Loki getting away.
I know.
I think that version of Loki is probably the one we're getting in the Disney Plus series.
That's what everyone basically is like. That's got to be it.
Except for the only thing that makes me go, yeah, but that's not enough of an explainer on its own, is because the Tesseract doesn't let you go through time.
No,
And
it
all
only
I've heard
gets you
about
through
this
space.
Loki story is that it's like him throughout different periods of time.
See, that's why when I heard that, I was like, that doesn't make sense. That's a space. Look, the Tesseract is a space
But
stone.
Feige just says that Loki is hella old. That's how they explain it.
But that's bullshit. You're basically using another stone's power. They don't share abilities. I mean, obviously, I'm sure they'll find a way to explain that, but right now that doesn't make any sense. The space stone should allow you to travel. And, I mean, for some reason, give, I guess, cosmic... See, that's why I was like, I don't really get Danvers' power.
Right.
Because she got her ability from the Tesseract, not the Power Stone. And I was like, it makes sense if she got it from the Power Stone.
Well, she didn't get her power from the Tesseract.
It was from...
She got her powers from an explosion.
An explosion, right.
From a thing that was powered by the Tesseract.
Okay, so
the explosion is what
gave her the
with
ability.
Cosmic whatever.
So much power, though. It's almost like
it
more...
was a space engine that was going to let them
But it's
travel
almost like
faster
more
than
power
Loki.
than the actual Tesseract itself, isn't it?
I don't think more than the Tesseract itself, but it's certainly more than anybody else that's gotten power from a stone. But I don't know, maybe not, because what they've shown Wanda do.
Right, that's true.
She's pretty fucking powerful too. Her power just works differently.
That's true, I guess.
I mean, they showed her like throwing spaceships around.
And Vision's power is like he had a stone. He was a stone, yet his ability
was a stone, but I feel like a little bit
the Mind Stone isn't
really
as much.
Yeah,
the full potential of the Mind Stone.
Yeah, we got to see him like doing weird phasing.
That's
and shit,
true.
But that was. That was kind of it. Like they set him up like, oh, he's gonna be super legit, but then he didn't really do much.
We were shown the example of the Power Stone in the Guardians flashback of that one
Right, where he,
celestial.
like,
He just touched the ground and
punches
the
a-
planet destroys. So
All right,
that's
Well,
powerful.
he was also a giant dude.
Right, but that's the power of the Power Stone.
Right.
So if you can possess the Power Stone, you're pretty legit.
Too legit to quit. In fact,
Probably.
some have said.
The time thing is always it's always messy. Time is always messy to mess around with.
It's true.
Unless it's like in little bits and pieces. But that's why it's like whenever I see a character that has like time abilities, I'm always like, oh no, it's gonna be misused.
Yeah. I mean, time is a very tricky ability to have access to. Like some people have done it well. Like I feel like Umbrella Academy's time stuff is interesting.
I like that
But
one.
the way that they use it is different.
It's very
you know?
interesting. I know in like JoJo, they have there's guys who can manipulate time, but then it's like within you could only limit it within like pausing time
Right.
for I think it was like 3 seconds, which doesn't sound like a lot, but the
That's
way it's
enough.
written, it's like 3 seconds is so much time if you know how to use it.
Yeah, man.
You know, so I don't know, but like that's why time travel is always a tricky thing. That's why when I was like, oh, it's about time travel. Okay, let's see where it goes. Let's see
Yeah.
where it goes. But I still had a fun time
idea
though. I had a fun time
Of the
watching that.
space heist.
Yes.
I liked that the space heist didn't go to plan because I think it was infinitely more interesting
That it
to
didn't.
see them deal with the plan fucking up pretty immediately. Some of the stuff was great, like Cap fighting Cap on the bridge
That was
neat.
great. The whole Hail Hydra. That was
Hail
great.
Hydra moment was great.
That
Crowd
was
went
great.
insane.
Yeah.
I liked it because for some people they just got it off of the like, oh, because Winter Soldier, he knows.
Yeah.
For some people, they'll get the like, oh, in the comic books, he had a Hail Hydra moment
Because
and
he was
everybody
actually
got on
Hydra in the
him.
comics. Yeah.
Like I remember that fondly just because of how butthurt everybody got from like, you can't make Cap a Hydra agent.
Like, yeah, you can.
It's still a fake person.
Yeah, you can. Of course you can. It's a story.
But I thought it was great. It was just another nod to previous films and great moments that they've created. Basically, Cap getting in an elevator with those guys is now iconic.
It is also, and I was having a conversation with mates, and it was like that subverted actual expectations because everyone thought, oh snap, he's gonna do the fight again. I was like, the way they did it though, brilliant.
It was perfect.
Brilliant.
Just when I even just first saw Sitwell walk into the room, I was like, oh shit, right, because it's 2012 or whatever. This is beforehand. And then
Ant-Man's like, wait a second, how do you not know these guys?
Redford back?
Yeah, everyone. That's I was like, man, they're going in. And then they showed Thor's mom. That was nice.
Yeah, the Frigga stuff was cool. I really liked her scenes.
Yeah.
Really liked I mean, I didn't like that the ongoing joke because he looks like Big Lebowski. Like I get it.
Yeah.
But I did like Chunky Dunker Thor.
Dude,
I thought that
Chunky
was great.
Thor was great.
I thought he looked dope at the end when he puts the suit on and stuff.
He was
and
straight
got
up
the braided
Viking.
beard and the double
the
hammer.
hair was up, the beard was braided.
I was
and
into that.
He
I was
looked
like, I might cosplay Fat Thor someday.
He looked gangster. That's the thing. I was like, he looked like straight Viking Thor at this point.
Yeah, man, I
with
loved it.
Wielding the axe and the hammer.
Yeah, I want to do the Aquaman version of that.
Yeah. So see, like that's the thing. Like they've been so risky. They've tried a lot of things with the Thor character in these films, and I'm like, could they get away with doing that with any other character?
Well, I don't. Well, the thing with Thor, though, is all those versions of Thor have been Thor in the comics,
right? And that's why. But like,
version
that's what I was trying to explain to my mates as well. Like a couple of my mates who weren't really that, who know of the characters but not. Oh yeah, it's like they've tried that, they've tried that, they've tried that. But like say other characters, say like in DC, do you reckon they'd eventually give Aquaman the whole hook hand type deal?
I think it'd be cool just because it's something different. Even if they go to the like water hand,
Yeah,
where
yeah,
you
like
have the lizard
something.
hand or whatever. Just something to try, something new. Because why not? Yeah, I think they could.
That's
I
why
mean,
it's a shame because it's like you could do the whole black suit Superman and stuff if you want. Then,
Snyder was gonna, man. They didn't
ah,
want him to. They didn't want him to try stuff.
but yeah, bearded Thor was cool. That was
Bearded Thor was
that was a nice
cool.
surprise.
I liked it. I thought he looked tight.
Smart Hulk, I liked.
Smart Hulk, I liked fine. I was a little bummed that there was no rematch because they set up this
Everyone
like,
was bummed. Yeah,
oh, like Hulk can't fight him in Infinity War because he got served up and now he's scared or whatever. So it seemed like they were setting up to like, well, if Banner's in control and he can fight with the Hulk strength, that they'll have this rematch and it'll be something. I don't remember Hulk really doing anything in that
he
big
did this.
last
Oh no,
battle.
he was there. That last battle is tricky because there's a lot going on in that last
There is a
battle.
lot going on, but there's
The main
memorable
focus is the
moments,
three.
and Hulk had pretty much
Yeah,
no
the main focus
memorable
was
moments.
definitely the three. In the last battle, there was no Hulk moment. The Hulk had a moment in the film where he was the snap.
Right, but no Hulk moment. That
no
was
Hulk
an
moment. That
Infinity
was
Gauntlet
yeah.
moment that where Hulk happened to be the one doing the Infinity Gauntlet thing. But there was no Hulk moment. Like I kept hoping because one of my favorite scenes in the whole movie of Hulk is when they go to 2012 and they
Yeah.
see the old angry Hulk, and it's when he's like beating the shit out of one of the aliens and like smashes him
The
with a car
Chitauri,
and
yeah,
then
yeah.
jumps on the car a bunch of
Yep,
times.
yep.
And I'm like, that is the Hulk that I love. I like when
Right.
he's just a big angry baby,
He's not that anymore though, man.
which is fine. But I was hoping that there would be some moment at the end where he had to rage out, like go full on Hulk to help in this fight. Like,
Right.
okay, I was Professor Hulk throughout the movie so I could help get the science stuff done, but now I need to go full Hulk so I can have this huge fight with Thanos.
Like do
and
something. Like
serve him
even
up
if
something.
if he was just given one scene.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, because that's all. Honestly, like I think that would have helped a lot if you were given if they gave characters again. It's tricky. The film is already 3 hours. If they were to give the characters like a moment, just one moment to like lay something in, it probably would have satisfied a lot of people.
Yeah, man.
It
I
probably
would have
satisfied a lot
taken
of people.
one solid,
Yeah.
full-on angry
Totally.
Hulk punch,
Well,
like the one he did
like
to
he
the
blocked
space
something,
whale.
like he blocked like a fist and then like really hammered it
Yeah,
into him.
dude.
But then even get taken out afterwards doesn't matter.
Dude,
You got that
show him
moment.
fighting the bad
Yeah.
guy Hulk
Yeah.
alien that Thanos has, like that something. I would have had.
Dude, there was more of a like bloody Falcon got a moment. He stabbed that big dude and then
Yeah, he
with his
stabbed the
wings.
crap
You
out
know
of
what I mean? Like Ant-Man crushed that big one with his
Yeah.
foot. So
Take a little bit of time off of that scene where Ant-Man wants to take a selfie with the kids. Just take a little bit off of that and put in a scene where Hulk punches that
yeah.
dude real hard.
Or something. Yeah, like destroys it with one punch.
That's all.
Yeah.
You know, his moment in the first Avengers where he punches the space whale
Yep.
is the most epic shit that the Hulk has done.
Yeah.
And they've yet to give him another moment like that, and I feel like they
Ragnarok,
could,
he was pretty badass in Ragnarok.
Yeah, but that one punching a whale out of the sky,
Yeah.
Jeffrey, is different.
Ant-Man did it in this one too. A giant man.
Yeah, and that shit was awesome.
Yeah, it was amazing.
That
It
shit
was
was
amazing.
awesome. That was one of the best hits
It
in the
was
whole
amazing.
thing.
It was amazing.
That and when Spider-Man finally gets his instant kill
yeah,
mode, you
kill
finally
mode,
see
and
what
he's
the
just like
looks like.
stabbing everything around him.
Everything that was amazing.
He was going to town. He was going to
That made me
town.
want to get that instant kill head for the
Mayfix.
SH. Yeah.
Wait, was it SH? I thought it was for the Mayfix re-release.
SH re-release that had the kill shot head.
I thought it was the Mayfix re-release, bro.
I didn't know Mayfix was doing a re-release.
Yeah, they're doing I thought Mayfix was doing the re-release. I don't know.
I thought it was.
If it was an SH, that's bullcrap, man.
They were doing the PS4 suit and the black suit, and they showed them all together.
Because I sent you the photo of the Mayfix because they did a new head, a new Peter head.
Oh. Well, I'm not buying it twice.
No, exactly.
But I do. I want that head still
Yeah,
because
it's
it was
great
cool.
That was a great shot.
The I know that there was so some of the stuff that was interesting to me to point out is the stuff that was for sure fake in the trailers.
Yeah.
So like some of the shots that we talked about, like there was the scene of Thor in the sky, and
Yeah.
it's short hair Thor from Infinity War, and he looked at his axe and he's confused.
That was
not
probably
at
from
all.
Infinity War.
Yeah, that was probably leftovers from that.
Yeah.
The scene of Cap and Tony in the alley where he's like, "Do you trust me?"
Mhm.
Yeah, I trust you. Wasn't the suit he was wearing, and I told you I was like, I bet you that suit is CGI.
Yep.
Because he's wearing the old Cap outfit. And we talked about earlier, and I was like, bruh, the scene that we saw behind the scenes of them on set from 2012, and they have all the tracking dots on them.
Yep.
I was like, I bet you those are the quantum suits, and they just turn into the old costumes. So that was interesting to me too, that they did that and it looked okay, that they had the CGI outfits.
I think it looked good. Like it didn't take me out of the actual scene.
Only once did I find the neckline distracting. That was when Hawkeye went for his first test run.
Yeah.
And he was like just walking around the suburbs or whatever. They had a close up and I was like, oh man, that is fully a CGI costume he's wearing. They never actually made these quantum suits. And that looked really distracting to me there. But I was like, it looks way better than when they did the like Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern.
They've come a long way.
Yeah.
They have come a long way. And to think it's like, oh yeah, Spidey's suit is actually all CG.
Yeah, I don't like that they do that to Spider-Man.
I don't too.
I understand why they do it for the Iron Spider suit.
It was the Iron Spider.
The Iron Spider suit.
It was the Iron Spidey. It was the Iron Spidey suit though. But that's all. I'm just like, give him a real suit. I think in this Far From Home he's got a real suit, but we'll see how much of it is actually used.
He did for Homecoming, but they always replace it.
That's true. We'll see how much of it is actually used in the movie. What would you say were the biggest crowd reaction shots in your cinema?
A-Force, when all the ladies get together.
Yeah. Was that the biggest crowd?
That one and the like Mjolnir Cap getting
that
hammer.
Was easily the biggest one in the cinema in all my screenings.
That's a big moment.
That is the biggest moment. Oddly enough, there was a lot of people like with the A-Force scene. Some of the reactions were actually a little bit like groans.
Really, I thought that was great.
We no, as in the cinema. We got a handful of groans, or either that or no reactions.
It was
almost just like
here. People were excited about all the ladies.
Yeah, man. So much though.
The reveal for Fat Thor.
Yeah, that was people reacted to that. Yeah, that was a pretty funny one.
People stood up and clapped during the I am Iron Man thing.
Really? Okay.
And the Avengers Assemble.
Yeah.
I actually yelled out when they said Avengers Assemble finally. I was like, finally!
Yeah. It took them long enough. Hey, but it was worth it. That moment, man, there's so many shots during that battle where I was like, that'd make a nice wallpaper. That's a great shot. Like when Cap was just kind of standing and you see Thanos' whole army. That was a nice shot. And then, he got that message from Falcon.
Yep.
Good shit, man. Lots of fucking good shit.
Loved the reveal of them coming through the portals. Looked really wicked. How they used all the wizards and stuff.
Yeah, smart use of them.
One of the coolest sequences was bananas on its own. Was Peter is getting overwhelmed while he is instant kill moding some baddies or whatever, and so Cap calls out, "Hey, Queens!"
Yep, and then he
throws the hammer above him so that he can web the hammer.
Yep, and get pulled out.
Pulls him out of the dog pile, and then he lands on a Pegasus with Valkyrie on it, and is proceeding to fly throughout the battle on a Pegasus with Valkyrie. Just some of the interplay part is was the coolest to see.
Oh
It was
yeah,
like
yeah.
it felt the most like reading an event comic.
Yeah, there was like a handful of really cool callbacks. Uh, Panther calling Clint by his name to get when they were doing the relay of the Iron Gauntlet.
Hmm.
He called him Clint, and when originally he was like, I don't care about that scene.
Right, right.
Um,
From Civil War.
yeah, it's like, hey. Also, when Ant-Man and Wasp, how she's like, right, and she's just when she's like talking to Cap, and she's like, "Yep,"
Right, and she says it
and
too.
and she was making fun of him when he
She's
called
like,
him
you got
Cap.
it, Cap, or
Yeah,
whatever.
and it's
just
like,
looks at her.
and they both smiled. I was like, "Yeah, you can't not."
I wish he would have said it though. I wish he would have said Cap, huh?
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
just to call it out.
But he looked at her and he's like, "Yeah." It's
Yeah.
like how he's always so excited, like when Thor was telling his story,
Right, right.
or how
Yeah.
Rocket was making fun of him. Little puppy
Mhm.
wants to go to space.
I wish that there had been more interaction. I mean, I liked his one-liner of acknowledgement, but I wish there would have been more interaction between Tony and Rocket.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like
Not enough.
in my head he would have been fascinated by now there is a raccoon in a tree here.
There's no tree.
Right, but whatever the case, before we saw them interact with any of the Guardians, I was really excited about him meeting Groot and Rocket. More so than any of the other characters. I was like, Tony will be fascinated by genetically altered raccoon is now sentient and is a gun-wielding guardian of the galaxy. But he just was like, oh, I thought you were a Build-A-Bear until a minute ago or whatever. Which was funny, but I just wish there was a bit more fascination.
It's
I
a little
miss the
tricky though,
Tony-
because it's like he'd been in space, almost about to die for like 20
I get
something.
it, but I miss the Tony from Avengers 1 that's like proking the Hulk because he wants to see
Yeah.
it. Like he should be curious about every one of these
it
weirdos.
would just
he's
it would
meeting.
just be tricky to like story wise where they are for him
I
to be
think it's
exactly the
consistency
same
in
way.
character.
It is, but it's also growth in character too. He'd grown
to
since
not be curious. I
yeah,
think
no, he'd
curiosity
grown in
is
regards to his
infinitely part of his character.
personality.
What was that?
He'd grown in his personality throughout.
He did, but that curiosity it has to always be there. That's Tony's driving force. That's how he got to do the Infinity mission.
It wouldn't be as jovial as it once was, though.
He called him a Build-A-Bear.
He did, but he
what are
wouldn't.
you talking about?
But it's also how he is. Like he's what, dead tired. You think he'd just get up and then go and quit? Like basically ask him more.
No, but I feel like just like Rocket being like, I want that dude's
Right.
arm or whatever. I feel
didn't
like
do- he
that
didn't do any of that
fascination
this
is the
episode
same with
either.
Tony. He's a tinkerer, forever a tinkerer.
I'm
So
sure
I
there was
just
so
wish
much
that
stuff
there
that
was-
basically had to go on the cutting room floor for this one too, man.
I'm sure they didn't cut a lot. They didn't have
A
a
lot.
lot to. They didn't have a lot of room for cutting. I also feel like these. It felt very much like a lot of this was pieced together in the edit.
Oh, probably.
Like we've got a fuck ton of segments here
Yeah.
that seem great. Let's do these segments. They have to lead to this big battle and this sequence and this sequence. But a lot of it felt like vignettes, like even the Tony going back to the 70s.
That was nice. Him talking to
It
his
was
dad.
it was cool.
Yeah.
And then we got the only ever that I can remember, the only ever TV
Yep. Acknowledgement.
character coming from the TV universe to the movies, where they started on TV first and got to the movies.
Mhm.
First time ever with Jarvis.
Yep. Only time.
That's cool to me.
I think it's
'cause
dope.
It would have been interesting if Tony acknowledged seeing Jarvis, like, oh, Jarvis, I remember him. It's weird to see him young or something like that, because
He probably wouldn't say
just to
that
set
with
up
his dad
why
there,
he
though.
uses the name
He
Jarvis.
probably wouldn't say that with his dad though. There.
I don't know, because
Wouldn't that be
they've never
weird?
established any relationship with Tony and the original Jarvis, except
get
for
that.
he named his AI Jarvis.
Right, because as a kid he was raised by him. But like, wouldn't it be
We're
weird?
assuming.
Right.
We're
But wouldn't
assuming.
it be weird if like an adult person that you've just met go, oh, Jarvis, cool. Because he wouldn't even know who Jarvis is when he just met Howard Stark.
Tony?
Yeah.
Tony would know who Jarvis is.
No. But as
No,
Howard
I'm not saying he
Potts.
doesn't. He doesn't have to say it to
Oh,
him.
okay. You mean acknowledge it
Just
after
to,
the fact.
for him to acknowledge Jarvis at all
Right.
would have been set up for why he would
Sure.
name his AI that.
Sure.
But instead, the only acknowledgement that that character's name is even Jarvis is just from Howard in passing.
Yep,
like,
yep.
okay, thanks, Jarvis. Let's get out of here.
I don't even think he
I'm
got his
the
name.
Disney
Yeah.
version instead of the whatever the other guy's name is.
The younger version from
Yeah,
the,
that's
from
like
like
only
from like
Peggy
20, 25 years or so ago, something like that.
It's just weird because he
Yeah.
looks like that until 1960, and then immediately starts looking like Walt Disney or whatever, which was bizarre. I thought the young Hank Pym looked really weird. The like bushy hair,
The big hair.
Yeah,
I like
But
the
I love
helmet.
that they showed his old ass helmet.
That was so cool.
That was very
Like
neat.
it was the full on helmet. I'm
yeah,
like,
I
wow,
love that
that's
they showed
ridiculous.
that. Thought that was great.
That's pretty ridiculous.
Um,
Nice acknowledgement there.
yeah. So I saw that there was a Captain.
Yeah.
Britain thing you mentioned?
I mentioned yesterday that I was watching a couple of those videos of of like Easter eggs and possible things. When Cap was in the office, Peggy's office in the 70s,
Yeah.
and how she walked in, she mentioned Braddock. Get Braddock
Right.
in here or something like that. And I think that's either an
Captain
Easter
Britain.
egg to Captain Britain. I'm not sure if they're going to do anything with that, but you know, anything's possible. And also
It'd
the
be
whole
cool.
the underwater earthquake thing, which might be tied to
Could be
Namor. Who knows?
Namor,
Yeah.
but I don't know if there'd be
Yeah.
any rush to do
Nah.
Namor now that they. I feel like the only reason that Namor, the idea of introducing Namor is cool to me, is because I want to see them use Namor in the context of the way that Fantastic Four typically does, where he's like a foil for Reed, where he's always trying to pick up on Sue.
What a weirdo.
Because like
that's such a weird.
Almost the only thing I really know about Namor is he is constantly trying to smash Sue Richards.
Yeah.
That's
And
one
Sue's
of the
like,
main
come on,
things
calm
I know
down.
about him.
It's just so weird.
It is weird, but we're gonna have Fantastic Four now.
Yeah, like
And if there's any time where you can exploit that kind of a weird
like
triangle,
that's his primary interest in as a character.
that I know. 'Cause
Right,
I don't read
of
Namor
that,
by
yeah.
himself.
I
I've
don't.
only seen him in the context of
Yeah.
Fantastic Four stuff.
That he's essentially the Marvel Aquaman, and that he wants to smash
Sue Richards, man.
Sue.
He wants her to be Queen
Yeah.
of Atlantis.
Pretty much. And that's it. I'm not sure what the plans are for, like, you know, Captain Britain or Namor, because they don't seem to be part of the next Marvel slate of films.
I think Captain Britain is way more likely.
I mean, maybe after the next batch, because they've already listed what's in the next batch.
It's weird that neither Captain Marvel movie, the characters don't get names.
Yep.
They don't ever call Shazam Captain Marvel. They never call Captain Marvel,
Or Captain.
or even Captain.
Yeah.
Neither of them get a captain.
They call her
I
Danvers.
mean, I guess
or Carol.
Shazam gets Captain Sparkle Fingers.
Yeah. Or
That's
he's got
the
some.
only captain he
He had some other nicknames, but nothing was Captain.
Yeah, just Captain Sparkle Fingers.
Yeah.
That was the only one.
That is odd. I wonder if that's. There's got to be a reason for that.
Purposeful.
But it's
They're
interesting.
like, let's just avoid the name issue because we don't know what they're gonna do.
Like they called him Billy,
yeah, he was Billy every time.
and hers Carol.
Yeah, she's Carol.
Here's
or
all right.
Danvers
Here's a
or-
weird thing, right? You know when she went down to Earth,
Mhm.
she was definitely interested, you know, in the whereabouts of FooRay. But what about her best friend, Monica
I don't know.
Rambeau?
I guess we'll see in her movie
Okay.
next.
Because I'm like, you'd probably be interested, right? I mean, she is your best friend.
It was interesting to me to watch those scenes finally, like her talking to the Avengers for the first time.
Yep.
I guess second time if we're assuming that they were the ones that sent her up to get
Yeah.
Tony.
Yep.
Uh, which you know they could have explained, but they had some time to spend on that selfie scene later.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
You
I
really hate
don't.
that selfie scene.
It was fine. It was just really
It
long.
was. It was unnecessarily long, especially when they were like, "Come on, he doesn't want the photo." Yeah, he does. No, he doesn't. You go
Like
away
I
now.
get it, it's awkward, but
Yeah.
I would have sacrificed never
Oh
seeing
yeah.
Hulk do a dab if we needed some extra time to
For
do a
anything
different part
else?
of story.
For
Yeah,
anything
I
else?
just
Yeah.
need to see Hulk
Yeah.
dabbing.
I'd rather see Hulk punch a giant creature and get
Yeah,
some
man.
sweet action than
Yeah.
dab and then tell the kids to listen to the mom and them discussing about, the kids wanting a selfie with Ant-Man.
All right. Like granted, I'm sure it's funny, and it's
Yeah.
funny to
It's a fun
imagine
time. It's a fun time. Don't get me wrong.
them
But
out as the actors and
yeah.
getting people want to ask them for selfies. I'm sure moments like that happen. But come on, man. Give me some other stuff. We had time for other things. Well, it's already 3 hours.
Right.
Give us some of the goods. That's how I feel about that. There's just so much to dig through, man. 3 hours of movie.
That's the thing. There is too much because it's like, because we're kind of just going all over the
Valkyrie
place.
is new queen of Asgard, I guess.
Yep. Cool.
Because Thor's gonna go hang out with the
I was
Guardians.
like, yeah, I'm just gonna do what I'm not a ruler, I'm just gonna.
It seems like they're gonna be searching
travel.
for Gamora
Yep.
as the maybe what Volume 3 story is.
Volume
the
3
search for
story. You think
Gamora.
we'll get the Adam Warlock thing?
I hope so, and I hope that's why they need Thor to be there, because they need somebody strong enough to fight Adam
Yeah.
Warlock.
Adam Warlock is cosmic level, so you kind of
Yeah.
need someone who's at least close to that.
Right. If that happens, is interesting to me. I also like the idea of him having to re-court Gamora and like
Yep.
re-get to know her, and Thor being there as a potential foil to that, because
Right.
last time he didn't even want her touching his muscles.
Yeah, because he was like,
and they were already a thing.
I know.
If they're not a thing yet,
but she's not
and
even like she was not even interested in him at that point.
Yeah,
She
I don't
was
think
just,
she is.
Yeah.
But just for him to be
because
insecure
he's so
about Thor
insecure
being
about
there,
it. I'm curious. You reckon we'll ever see like a beta ray?
I think that it's more likely
I
that
think
you'll
it's
see
more-
Better Ray with him being part of Guardians.
Because the thing about like what's next in regards to the MCU is, I mean, if you look at the films that are slated, there's Black Panther 2, there's Doctor Strange 2.
Is that next after Spider-Man? What's after Spider-Man?
Oh, they haven't actually slated what's actually next. They've
not said dates.
They've not said dates. They've just said after Spider-Man, which is the one that only has an official day and they've already, finished filming and whatnot. They've got Doctor Strange 2, Black Panther 2, Captain Marvel 2, Guardians 3, which is the last of the slate, Shang-Chi, and The Eternals, which is space as well.
Right.
So you've got
That's the
three.
one where
You
they're
got
trying
three
to get
space
Jolie
ones. Black Panther, which is Earth-based. Strange, which I think is Earth-based, obviously, but the whole.
I don't know. I think
magic
Doctor
thing.
Strange can kind of be anywhere now.
Yeah, Doctor Strange is easily one of the most powerful Avengers.
Dimension hopping
Yeah.
one.
He's easily one of the most powerful Avengers, even without the Time Stone.
Right.
I'm curious because I was having a discussion with my mates before, because they do read a lot of like old school and current comics, and they know way more than me about Shang-Chi and stuff, and they're just curious how that's going to be handled, because he is primarily just a street level. Yeah, like a street level guy. That's why it was like, it's weird that he would work, how they would take him from the comics to the big screen, as opposed to how, the other Defenders were, say, handled via Netflix. Because he would be more grounded in that way. And he's also like, I wonder if they would incorporate the current ability that he has in the comics, which is, he's kind of like Madrox.
Or he knows your weak point or whatever.
Madrox is the one who multiple man.
Oh, multiple man. Oh, he can jutsu you.
Yeah. So
that's weird.
Right, but that's the current thing he's got in the book. So they're wondering, by having that, will he basically not be as street level, just be higher than street level?
I don't know, man. I think street level is kind of where they're gonna have to go now.
It's either cosmic or street, right?
Because I feel like they've gone as cosmic as they're gonna go outside of Guardians now.
They've got Eternals, and they're like cosmic.
But I mean, we're getting there via
Oh yeah.
Guardians because they were introduced via that world.
That
I feel
film,
like
I think that film
all
is
the
also coming
stories
out
that
before Guardians 3.
aren't Guardians or Eternals are gonna be smaller stories. Like
Except Captain Marvel, which has to be. She's also.
I don't know, man. Captain Marvel is a weird one.
Captain Marvel, I
is
think
a weird one.
she's tricky because they've made her so powerful
Right.
that what are you gonna do story wise with her?
Yeah, I feel like genuinely they should have done a thing where like she and Thor went off to do
Right.
the Asgardians of the Galaxy.
That would
thing.
make sense. Like if she was part of that squad.
Right. Go off and do your space adventures together.
Because I don't like. Again, she has so much power that I don't know what you can do with her. That wouldn't just come off like
no Vision return.
Right, which was a bit sad.
I was hoping there would be. I thought that Professor Hulk was going to be like, well, we took the data that was left over and we made new White Vision.
Mm-hmm. Which would have been
but
nice.
I'm guessing that will happen later because Shuri also apparently vanished and she was the one that gathered all that data.
And I'm sure she can probably develop a better body as well since, access to vibranium. You can, again, have a vibranium body.
She knows to put the synapses in the blah, blah, blah,
much
blah,
better. No stone, but I don't think they needed a stone.
Yeah, I don't need it anymore.
It was just the power source that they needed, right?
Yeah.
That's why I was like, I'm curious as to, like, I don't know a lot about Black Panther, so I don't even know what villains he would have to, what his storyline would be about. Strange, there's always a bunch of the interdimensional type stuff.
For Strange, they said that they were going to use the Nightmare character because he was supposed to be the villain for the first one, and they decided to wait.
Cool. I mean,
so him fighting Nightmare is cool. I'm
actually really interested in the whole Strange's universe is probably one of the more interesting ones for me because
I loved seeing Tilda Swinton come back.
Dude, she was great.
We talked about that being a possibility as well.
Yeah, and so we were kind of,
I thought she was going to somehow show up in the last battle, though.
Right.
Like they were all going to fight in the spectral realm or some shit.
Spectral realm, right? In an interdimensional thing. Yeah. That would be tight. But like, I like Strange's. I like the world that Strange can take us in because there's so much story you could do there. You can include the whole Black Heart. Yeah, it's abstract. It's dark. It can be scary. You know what I mean?
I was watching an interview with the creator of Thanos. Something Sterling? Jim Sterling? No, not Jim Sterling. Something Sterling, something like that.
Might be Jim.
And he was saying that he actually was told by Marvel that the reason that they changed Thanos' origin to the balancing the reality by balancing life and yada yada came from another Thanos story that happened later. They decided to change it because they thought that people were maybe not ready for the more abstract characters like Death and Mephisto and shit like that.
Which would make sense if it was introduced in Doctor Strange's.
Right. We'll probably get them via Doctor Strange before we start seeing those characters invade the MCU.
I'm looking forward. Like Black Panther, I'm not really that familiar with any of his like villains and whatnot, so I have no you already killed Claw, so good job there. That was
I feel like
kind of weak
because they're doing they're basically they got rid of everything from Netflix, right?
That's gone.
I feel like they should have just made, if they wanted an Asian character, just do an Iron Fist movie, but make Iron Fist Asian for the MCU version.
They want Shang-Chi. It's Shang-Chi now.
But Shang-Chi is I think he's less cool of a character.
Yeah, no.
I think
I'm with
what
you,
Iron
dude.
Fist can do in the comics
I'm with you.
is way more cinematic of an ability. They didn't show us much in the show because they had limited budget and shit.
Mm-hmm.
But in the comics, he's like punching, and then like dragons made of flames spiral around his hands and then obliterate shit. You know.
The
I
thing
feel
about
like,
the Shang-Chi thing is you can actually have Iron Fist in there.
You can, but I just feel like
I don't think they will anymore.
Just make Iron Fist Asian.
No, I don't know.
Shang-Chi is even not even a cool fucking superhero name. It's just a name.
It's gonna be weird in general because I don't know. Like, I understand people want representation, but then they also don't want to be stereotyped. Yet that is
An
representation
18 guy
and a
that does
stereotype.
martial arts.
You know what I mean?
Do you think they get the? Do you think they get the dude that was Shatterstar since he was almost Iron Fist?
No.
You
The
know,
reason
because-
why is if they want this to actually do well in China, you hire a Chinese actor. That's a fact.
I mean, you fill it with Chinese people.
You feel it with Chinese people, but if the lead is an actual like a
Avengers didn't have any Asian
Nope.
leads, and that shit did gangbusters in China.
it did, but they also love spectacle. That's why.
Well, make him Iron Fist.
The difference is,
Give him
right?
some spectacle.
They don't like if they want to see Chinese. That's why it's so weird. Like, I don't know if they understand how it works there, because if they want to see like Chinese-led actors in Chinese films, they would just make the films.
They do make the films.
That's
They
why.
make Chinese films all
There's
the time.
heaps of them. There's heaps of them. But that's why it's like when Hollywood tries to pander to them in that way, where it's like, oh, you've got representation. They don't give a fuck. They
Yeah,
don't care.
It's true.
Do you remember when people were complaining about that Great Wall movie?
Mm-hmm.
Because they were
Those
like,
Matt-
oh,
Matt
whitewashing.
Damon.
It's like, homie, that's a Chinese movie. They cast him because they wanted him in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yet American Asians were complaining about whitewashing. And it's like, bro, you're dumb. This is not your movie. Yeah, I don't know. But that's why, if you want to target that market, you have to get someone either from there, or I don't know. Shang-Chi seems weird as a choice. I know people who are actually fans of Shang-Chi, which is neat. So they're gonna get.
I know
They're gonna be
my
happy
dad
from
is
that.
the only person I know that likes Shang-Chi.
I noticed it's a lot of older dudes that like it.
Yeah,
though.
because that grew up with Bruce Lee.
Exactly. But we don't live in that day, so I don't really know. I don't know anything about Eternals.
All I know is that they want Angelina Jolie. That's literally all I know about it.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Mm. All I
And
know
she's
about
one of the only actresses they haven't used.
that's true.
So you might as well. She's not been any of the
I do know
X-Men
that they want like a gay character in it or something.
They in the Eternals.
Yeah, there's gonna be LGBT those letters representative. I don't know what the letters are. I'm sorry. Because they add new letters, and I'm like, I don't know.
It's fine.
Yeah. But yeah, one of them is gonna one of them is gonna be gay. That they're making this like they're advertising this a lot, and I'm just like, bro, don't advertise it, just do it.
And I'm like, oh, which one of the Eternals is gay? And I'll be like,
It's me, baby. I like eternal stuff.
he just has permanent auto-tune voice.
I'm sure
That'd be
people would
amazing.
find that offensive, though.
Have you seen Code Monkeys?
What's that?
It was like an 8-bit sitcom about people who are programmers on video games in the 80s. And there's a character, I think his name was Gay Tony or something. That was a character that worked at their job, and all his dialogue was in auto-tune, and he would play the guitar as he walked around.
That's pretty
It
cool.
was incredible. He was one of my favorite characters on the show.
Yeah. Is it an old show?
Yeah, like early 2000s.
Okay, I was gonna say not 80s.
No, it was just set in the 80s.
Okay, I don't know if that will pass these days.
I'll have to find that show because
Probably.
we should watch it.
But yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know. Cool. I have no idea about Eternal. So no, I don't know about Eternal. So I don't know what their planning is. What the planning is for that. So
No, that was a great segue. I support it.
but they've got that. They've got, I don't know. Like, I have no idea what they're gonna do with all these films now. Really?
Make a gajillion dollars probably.
Sure, this film is gonna probably make bank still. I don't know if it's gonna reach Avatar, maybe.
Are you disappointed there was no post credits?
No, not at all.
When the movie ended, I looked over at Adam and I was like, I'm pretty sure they're not going to put a post credit at the end of this. They're going to try and make it feel like a definitive end.
Yeah, yeah.
And
The
then
only
we
thing
sat there anyway, and we're like, nope. And then I thought a post
We
credit
sat
was
there and
starting
chatted
because I started
anyways.
hearing the hammer banging,
Yeah, but that was it.
and I was like, oh shit, here it comes, here it comes. Oh nope, it's not.
Yep, that was it. We
You
sat
tricked
there
me,
because
but-
we were just talking, you know. 'Cause
Right,
it's
but
like
I suspected ahead of time that there wouldn't be,
okay.
so I
Yeah,
wasn't like.
I had a feeling
disappointed.
I was like, they're not gonna, because you want this to feel like this is kind of a nice place to end it for now. That's why,
Right.
like, I did I send you that picture of what that the box set that they're gonna come out with?
Yes,
It's called the Infinity Saga.
I get it,
Yeah.
but it's weird to me that Spider-Man's movie is not included if it's supposed to be the last of that phase.
Right. That's why it seems like
They're just in a rush to be
Yeah.
like, look, we put out an Infinity Saga.
it
box
seems
set,
like
buy
it seems like Far From Home, while it works as an epilogue to this, it is kind of the in between of the old and the new.
I don't know. He says the
Almost
last
like
of the old.
almost like a half issue. You remember those in comics?
I do, but I'm curious what he means because if Feige says Far From Home is the actual end of this phase,
Mhm.
I wonder what that means for movies going forward from there. Because what is the next one after Spider-Man?
They haven't announced.
They haven't announced. What's
There's
coming
as in
after that?
date wise, they've given no dates to any of those films that I've listed.
Because something's got to be next year.
Yeah, yeah. We don't. Well, I don't. It's not going to be. We know Guardians is going to be the last of them because that one has to. That one's filming after
Guardians was
Suicide
supposed to be
Squad.
next,
Right, but because the whole,
right?
you know, shuffle.
But now that one's not coming out until 2021. I heard.
Yes, 2021, and between 2021 and Far From Home, no idea because none of them have started filming yet. The one that I'm assuming they're going to start filming soon is Eternals because that's the one that they're making the most deal out of. And Shang-Chi because they've started, you know, they got a director and whatnot.
Who's directing it?
I don't know. I didn't look it up, but I know they got a director for it.
Well, I'm very curious because
I can look it up now if you want.
without an actor,
No, there's no lead yet.
director is all we have to go on.
I don't
if
think
that's
they're
be
gonna-
any good.
Like, I wonder when these things will be announced. Maybe Comic-Con? You think Comic-Con would be a good time for that?
I have been waiting for them to like pull one of those El Capitan theater things they did for Phase 3,
Mm.
where they were like, "Here's the movies we're gonna make. Start getting hyped now," because that seemed effective, man. Look how well it worked leading up to Infinity War.
Okay,
Like, come on.
so Shang-Chi has a screenwriter and a director. The screenwriter is David Callahan. He has written.
David.
Okay. Oh, this is his credits.
Uh-oh.
Doom.
No.
All three Expendables. Oh, he was a screenplay and story. Godzilla.
Okay.
He did the rewrite for Ant-Man. He wrote Zombieland, Double Tap. He wrote the screenplay for Wonder Woman 84.
Interesting.
And he wrote Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse 2.
Enter the Spider-Verse 2, like the number 2, or TOO as in
The number
well?
2, as in he wrote the sequel.
Interesting. What
And
about the director?
The director is Destin Daniel Cretton. That's
David.
Destin Daniel. Okay, what is his credits? He has directed I'm just looking, and there's nothing. I recognize none of these things. I'm gonna basically say them though.
Okay, good.
Long Branch, a suburban parable.
Ooh.
Bartholomew's Song. Drachma, a vassal's journey.
Vassals.
Yep. Deacon's Mondays.
These are made up.
Short Term 12. That one's he's most known for that one. Short Term 12.
Sure.
Most of these are short films, by the way.
Short term. 12.
His first feature length is called I Am Not a Hipster. The Glass Castle, Just Mercy, and his upcoming one is Shang-Chi. So,
Wow.
I don't know anymore.
Why not? Just get the raid guy.
Nah, it's too easy.
Get him.
Nah. We don't want it to be good.
Fill it with the guys from the raid.
No. That's too easy.
And a Chinese guy, apparently.
Yep. Get a Chinese guy for the lead. Dude, just get
Do
Hong
that
Kong cinema
movie.
dudes, man, for real.
Why are we even doing a Shang-Chi movie? That Shang-Chi should have been the fucking Netflix show. Iron Fist should have been the movie. You're doing it wrong. Why are you a
Okay.
gape?
There is a director for Eternals, Chloe Zhao.
Ooh.
What has she done?
Oh, you know.
Oh, I don't know any of these. Songs
the
My
one-
Brother Taught Me,
By Chloe Zhao. I remember that one.
The Rider,
Yeah.
Nomadland,
Ooh, that
and
one's a good one.
upcoming The Eternals. Also, I'm reading here,
Yeah.
Angelina Jolie was confirmed to play
Yeah.
Cersei.
Yeah.
Kumail Nanjiani is in talks to join the cast.
Great. More that guy.
And there's a Korean actor who's
David?
also joining the cast. Ma Dong-seok.
Oh, I was hella close.
Very close. Very close.
Great.
Yeah, I have no investment in this because I got nothing
Zero.
invested. Yeah. I mean, I'll wait till the trailer, and if it looks cool, I'll probably peep it. But I think from this point, I'm just going to pick and choose what films I'm going to watch, really. I mean, I have been doing that so far, but most of the time, it's just been fairly interesting.
I've not gone to any of the MCU movies.
Oh, specific MCU ones, I've watched all of them in the cinema.
Of Marvel ones, I was pretty much going to all of them until the X-Men movies started to be garbage. And or started to be unbearably garbage. And you know, I saw Fantastic Four.
In the cinema?
I think I saw that one after the fact.
Oh, I thought we saw that on DVD. I saw that on DVD.
I just know I remember seeing it small.
Yeah. Did you watch any of the early Fox Fantastic Fours?
Yes. But that was back in the days when we just watched whatever was out because we didn't have a lot of superhero movie options. We could only see X-Men 1 or Spider-Man 1 or Blade. And that was like, we were getting lucky with those ones.
Yeah, very.
We had Darkman, bruh. Come on.
We did. I don't think I watched that in a cinema, though.
Yeah, it's because those movies were garbage is what I'm getting at. We didn't start getting good superhero movies until 2008.
What was that one?
That's when we got The Dark Knight, and that's when we got Iron Man 1.
Yeah, okay. Superhero ones.
Yeah, we had Spider-Man, and that was campy. We had X-Men, and it was almost good.
You had Blade.
We didn't start getting the Blade, but Blade's not a superhero movie.
Yeah,
Blade's a vampire movie that
but-
happens to be a Marvel product.
Right, okay. It's a comic book movie. But yeah, superhero. Yeah, Iron Man's 2008.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, Infinity or Endgame.
I loved it, man.
I thought it was good.
I loved it. I
I
had a
thought it
good
was
time.
good.
I think like it did enough for me in the film for me to really enjoy it, and
I
that's
had a great time in the
yeah.
cinema. I thought it was an amazing ride.
It was
Uh,
it was an experience in the cinema.
I think I
It was an
liked
event.
Infinity War better, but just because I liked the structure of that movie better.
I think the structure of Infinity War was better, but I equally enjoyed it as much.
I only didn't because I feel like I understood in Infinity War from top to bottom. I knew everything that they were going for.
Mm-hmm.
In game, there's too many questions for me to know fully if I enjoy it going forward. Like I know I had a blast watching
Mm-hmm.
it, but for me to know if I like all the choices they made,
Oh,
I
you know,
think I need to sit on that movie for longer.
sure.
Just
Choices, I'm sure,
because,
but here's the thing regarding that. It's like opinions on it can definitely shift as it goes along. The further time goes, we can look back on it and go, yeah, it wasn't. It's. I mean, it's still a fun time to watch, but there was definitely more things that they. There's definitely things they could have probably done, but especially seeing how things go later on.
yeah, because like
You
we
know.
talked about them, Tony having a kid.
Yeah, yeah. You
Tony
brought that
having a
up.
kid on the table, automatically more stakes if
Mm-hmm.
they had to undo
That kid.
the kid in order
Here it
to
was.
fix what happened.
Mm-hmm.
But instead they went, oh man, I'm not gonna undo my kid. I had
Let's
a
keep the
kid,
kid.
so
Let's keep the
just
kid.
bring everybody else here now
Yep.
and fuck up economy and everyone's lives and stuff in the universe because I need to keep my kid. I feel like that's not the move. The move is sacrifice this kid who's existed for 4 years or whatever.
Regarding the time travel thing, though, even if say they went back in time before the Wakanda thing, their future still exists. They're just fixing the future for the
version
people of
of
that
the
time.
future exists where that happened.
So would we then follow
Even if you,
if say
even
they
if you, go ahead.
if say they did fix that part, they went back before the Wakanda thing, and then they basically fixed the time for them. Would we then follow that the MCU from that point and just forget about the future timeline? Like the future timeline's like, oh, your future still sucks, but we're gonna follow these guys.
Sure, because we
Story-wise.
did that for everybody else. Like,
Mm-mm-mm-mm.
there's a version of the timeline where Thanos' snap never happened. That's better. We could just go to that world if we want. There's a version of the timeline where Loki gets away with the Tesseract, and apparently that sends that reality into a spiraling deathgasm. Uh, and you can't undo that because that doesn't undo the past or whatever.
Mhm.
So even if Cap goes back and puts that stone there, a version of Loki still got away.
Yep. Still had the stone.
And if he got away with that stone, then that's creating a black strand of time as
Mhm.
far as the Tilda Swinton character let us know.
Mhm.
So
Shows.
I feel like if you're going to set up the rule of like this can't be done or this happens and this can't be done or this happens, then you either have to stick with that or just don't introduce that rule so that you can
Because
do
it
what you
is
need to do.
it is essentially the rule that's followed in Dragon Ball.
Right. Except for
Except in Dragon Ball, we're just following the corrected line,
right.
as opposed
Except for
to the future
also
that Trunks comes
Cap
from.
Cap leaves
Yep.
in that scenario and then shows up there where he's an old dude, presumably meaning that he's had to have been on the earth for the whole time.
Whole time. Yep.
But that means inherently he did change the past.
Of course he did. But the past has already been changed throughout this whole time. In other words.
Right, but there's no version of it where he can go back and like nothing I do will affect anything.
Nope.
I'll be so careful.
Well, the thing is, that's probably what happened though. When he went back, he didn't change anything from what he lived already. What he experienced in his life. When he went back, he basically didn't do anything. He couldn't do anything.
But in order for that to be the case, he couldn't go back and be with Peggy. He couldn't be with someone who was there.
But how
and
about if the
involved with
person that
everybody's
he
shit.
went back in, like the time that he went the you know, it says Peggy,
Right.
what was Peggy's niece's
Margaret.
name? Niece.
Her niece,
Yeah.
Sharon.
when Sharon was like, Aunt Peggy lived a really quiet life. No one, like, she didn't, interact with a lot of people, blah, blah. She
Uh-huh.
married, What if that was actually Steve that went back in the time?
That's fine,
Yeah.
but I feel like
As in, like, he didn't
Aunt,
mess up
I
that
feel
time
like
because that was
Sharon
actually
Carter
him.
would know that her uncle looked like the
Right.
guy that she made out with a couple years ago.
He probably had to grow a mustache and stuff. They need to show that, like a mustache, just a straight up mustache, like a
Yeah,
different.
that should disguise that he's Captain
Yeah,
fucking
totally.
America.
Totally. No idea. That's why I'm like, you just can. Yeah. The more you think about it, the more it's just gonna be like, oh, what are they gonna do now?
Yeah,
They
just the
have to. They
MCU going
have to.
forward is
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
weird place.
But that's why I was like, as soon as that film finished, I was like, oh, I can pretty much just end it here, and I'm good.
But we're not is the
I
issue.
know.
Like
Well, we don't
they,
have.
if
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
said this is the definitive end of this
Yeah.
universe, we're starting fresh from whatever now. Tom Holland's Spider-Man is new universe or
Or Tom
whatever.
Holland's Spider-Man is alternate universe.
If it was, then that would be neat. I don't think that that's the case.
It's not.
I mean,
probably.
other than if we're following their rules, Loki getting away with that Tesseract created a fucked up new branch of time. So we could be in an alternate world. I just don't see them being like, well, this Spider-Man is alternate Spider-Man
Mhm.
so that we can. I mean, I just don't see them doing that.
It's
But I
tricky,
also
man.
like. It's weird that Feige's like, we have a 5-year plan. 5 years is
That's only half.
Say what?
5 years is only half of what you've already done, basically.
Right, and if it's the characters that we've talked about being the next coming movies,
Yeah, yeah.
and within the 5 years plan doesn't even include the X-Men and Fantastic Four and stuff.
No. And Feige said before as well, it's like we're not even going to consider them until after 2022 or something, 2021.
Right, because they've already got balls moving.
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't know, man. MCU is going to be a weird spot.
It is a
That's
weird
my
spot.
only issue with it is not even what the movie was. I feel like at the end was very rushed, like very suddenly. Now we've got Old Man Cap so that we can button this up. Was kind of a weird move, but I was fine with it mostly. It was interesting to give the shield to Sam and be like, okay, Sam, you're the guy, even though you don't have any powers, you just got a cool fucking backpack or whatever.
You can fly.
I don't know. Like, it just seems bizarre. Like, I'm really curious about that Bucky Falcon series.
Yep, whatever that's going to be about.
Yeah, if he's gonna be dressed like Captain America Falcon for that.
I'm really curious about a lot of those Disney Plus shows because I'm like, where will you fit in any?
It's all broken timeline. Like how are we gonna get to WandaVision? If they didn't bother to be like, here's Vision's alive now. Like, granted, I don't know how much setup they're gonna give us in that Spider-Man movie because they keep saying this is the epilogue. We could get like, oh, and then like Peter's friends with Shuri now, and when he goes to visit her, she's working on Vision's new body, and we're gonna send him off to whatever town. I don't see how they're gonna set up so much of this going forward. Like I feel like they either should have decided this is the end or it's not. And I feel like I don't know, man. I don't know, especially with like Spider-Man is a pretty big chunk of like Marvel's like A-list superhero stuff. And if they don't have Iron Man, they don't have Cap, they don't, and Thor is now a side character or whatever, like Hulk was for Ragnarok. And Black Widow is gone. Hawkeye's gonna have a series, so he's gone.
Is he having a series?
Yeah, he's gonna have a series where he passes the mantle to Kate Bishop.
Cool. I didn't know
Trains a
about
new-
that. That's neat.
Trains a new Hawkeye.
We don't know what's going on with Hulk, whether or not he's going to appear at all in any other thing.
And is his like arm, his strong arm thing, is that permanent?
Is it going to still be jacked, or is it going to actually heal up?
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's weird.
A lot of questions, but we'll see where it goes, man.
Are they gonna bring that Iron Man 3 kid in and have him go to Peter's
mean, he
school
was there.
so they
Yeah,
can
that'd be
have
cool.
Iron
Have him
Lad
there,
as
dude.
part of the Young Avengers?
Dude, do it, man. Do it.
Iron Lad.
I was having a conversation with a mate of mine, and it's like, Shang-Chi is a weird one, and it's like, why don't they just do a Kid Nova and have him be an Asian dude if you want? Doesn't matter. Have your Richard Rider there still if you want, but he could be like a mentor character.
I mean, isn't Kid Nova Hispanic?
Sure, I don't know. I don't even know.
I can't remember if that's accurate or if I'm mixing him with Blue Beetle.
Blue Beetle's
But
Hispanic.
I know he is for sure, but I feel like
Let me find
Nova,
out.
the Kid Nova, is Hispanic as well.
I can
And
probably
in which
find out.
case, make him Hispanic then, because we don't have a Hispanic hero either. The only
Yep.
one we got is in a movie that I can't spoil that he exists in, because it's still recent.
Which one?
Well, I just said I can't.
You can't spoil a Hispanic character?
Yeah, the Hispanic superhero.
I don't know who this Hispanic one is.
Well, I can't say it right now because it's a spoiler, but we'll talk about it after.
Okay. Here we go. Sam Alexander.
Sam Alexander
Mm-hmm.
is the Kid Nova. I mean, I don't know if
Is he
that automatically.
Hispanic? Oh. Samuel doesn't say.
For some reason, I remember him sounding Hispanic on the Ultimate Spider-Man show, where him and Kid Nova and Black Tiger, was it? No, not Black Tiger, White Tiger, and who else is on that team? I want to say Cyborg, but it was not Cyborg. It was Luke Cage, but as Power Man, but like a young Power Man,
Okay.
which is confusing. But yeah, I don't know, man. I think doing a young Nova thing would be neat. I don't know. Shang-Chi is a weird choice, dude.
I think so too.
Shang-Chi is weird. Don't do Nova. I don't want to see it.
You don't want to see
Just-
Nova?
I mean,
I'd
I
rather
feel like
see
he could-
Nova than Shang-Chi.
I'm cool with Nova being like a character. I just from what they've shown of what the Nova Corps is, I don't know if I care to see like a little kid dressed like those dudes.
Honestly, I'd probably just rather see an Amadeus Cho in the MCU.
Yeah.
Not as like a movie just about him, but like him be part of it if they wanted.
They showed his mama.
Yeah, it's 5 years
Ultron.
of time. He could be like a little kid right now.
Could be. I don't know, man. It's a bizarre one. Just do live action Big Hero 6, but do it like the
It's
comics.
too late. Oh, the comics was weird, dude.
Comics was weird. I don't know, man. I feel like they need some better Asian dude characters because right now,
Well, there's
best
gonna be an
girl-
Asian dude. He's in the Eternals.
Yeah, but nobody gives a shit
well,
about
that's-
the Eternals.
But there's Shang-Chi. There you go. You got your
Nobody
Asian
gives a
representation.
Shit about Shang-Chi. I'm
There's not
saying
at
that we
all.
need some good Asian dude characters. We've got Asian girl characters. We got fucking Psylocke, even though she's a white girl inside. We got Jubilee. We got fucking Silk. You know,
Silk could be somebody that
We've
they can
got
introduce.
Asian girls. We just need Asian dudes. Why are there no good Asian dude
Get
characters?
Namor. Make Namor be an
Nemo's not
Asian
even
dude. I know,
Atlantean
that's
shit.
true. He's
He's
Atlantean.
just Aquaman with ankle wings.
Yeah, and he's always trying to
We need some
mac.
good
He's always trying to
Asian-
mac on thing.
Nah,
Yeah.
no thing.
Can you actually name any Asian bloody comic character in Marvel at all?
One of the Alpha Flight dudes is Asian.
Which one is? Who cares? Alpha Flight. Who cares?
I mean, Alpha Flight's kind of tight though.
They're never gonna use them.
I mean, they could. Captain Marvel's the leader of the Alpha Flight.
Nah, they're not.
and
They're not
like
gonna
a
acknowledge
space
that.
station.
They're not gonna acknowledge that in the bloody in the MCU.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Who is the members of Alpha Flight?
I know there's a gay dude. something Star, Morning Star, or
North
something?
Star.
North Star. Is he Asian?
Let me see. Don't think so.
Is his boyfriend Asian?
I don't even. Is his boyfriend a part of the team?
I don't know. They got married, so I think so.
I don't see an Asian character in Alpha Flight.
I don't know. Maybe I made it up.
Maybe you did. See, you couldn't even making it up. You couldn't make up an Asian guy.
But I know those other two dudes are Asian.
Which one?
The other characters I named, other than Alpha Flight. Ned Leeds is now Asian.
Sure.
Genki
But you said
Lee
you
is
said
Asian.
superhero.
I know there was an Asian dude that was part of Spider-Man's canon.
Asian. Here we go. Let's see. I typed in Asian Marvel superhero, and the first one was Shang-Chi. And he's half Chinese, half American.
American isn't a race.
I know. I don't get it. 10 Marvel Asian superheroes.
American side could also be Chinese, is the thing.
That's true, yeah. It's like, hey, he's American, but, you know, both his parents are Chinese.
All right, just one was born in America.
Okay, here we go. There's a version of Black Widow.
I don't know Chinese Black Widow.
Monica Chang Fury.
That's great.
Yeah. Jubilee. You're
I
right.
already said that.
Kamala Khan.
Sure. Wrong kind of Asian.
Yeah, it's still Asian, though. Who else is there? Cybermancer.
Sure. That's all you got?
Amadeus Cho, which is Hulk.
That's all you got?
Komodo.
Okay, so yeah, you don't got nothing.
No. Silk.
You're just naming ones we already named.
Silhouette. Sunfire.
Sunfire is a good one.
And that's it. These are the lists, and I'm like, that's pretty pathetic.
So I'm saying, man, you got Asian girls. They need more Asian dudes.
Yeah, it's
You need to design Asian superheroes.
Silver Samurai.
Not a superhero. He's a villain.
That's true. There's a lot more females than there are males. I'm just looking at it
I
right
know
now.
that. I said that at the beginning.
Why is that?
Because people want to make Nook Nook to Asian women. Most people do not want to Nook Nook to Asian guys.
I'm seriously scrolling down Comic Vine's list of Asian Marvel characters, and most of them, if not, majority is female. Thunderbird.
Yeah.
There's a
Yeah.
version of Thunderbird that's male. There's a male Asian. Dude, this is the whole list, and all the ones that we had said are the only ones that exist.
Well,
There's a problem that needs solving.
That's interesting.
Be the ones to solve it, Jeffrey.
Why do you feel like you have to be the only one? All right.
let's design Asian Marvel characters and give them powers that aren't Asian themed.
Jimmy Woo.
Sweet.
He's a character. He's from the 50s. He's an FBI agent. He's not a superhero,
Great.
but
Well, we should make a
he was part of
superhero,
Agents of Atlas.
and then maybe he'll be so dope, and Marvel will be like, "All right, guys, this is the one.
It
We're
says
gonna
here-
take this guy."
See, I'm on a list now, and it's just of people of color.
Great. So does that mean we're done with the in-game review
I
now?
think so. So, in other words, Shang-Chi's a weird choice,
Shang-Chi is a weird choice,
but they're making it. That's one that they're definitely adamant on doing. They've got a director. I'm just curious who they're
Portman
gonna
came
cast.
back for 1 second.
Yep.
I don't even know that she did come back. I'm
Yeah,
not convinced
I'm not convinced
a lot
either.
that a lot of those people came back at all. I feel like they just reused footage they didn't
Other than
use for the old movie.
Thor's mom.
Yeah, because she had a full-on
Yeah,
scene.
Thor's mom and Ancient One.
An ancient one, yeah. I feel
Those
like a
two
lot of the
definitely
other
back.
people,
Oh,
they could have just used old footage, man. They could have used old footage for Pierce.
really, Rick? I doubt it.
They could have.
They filmed that whole scene? Nah, no way. No way.
Yeah. I
No
mean,
way.
his part is only coverage. It's just him reacting to shit and saying,
What about the elevator scene? That's gotta be a new film.
yeah, it's easy to get
Yeah.
Rumlow back.
And the other fella.
Sit well.
Yep.
He ain't doing anything.
No, they ain't doing Shaq.
He's not been doing anything since he mentioned Stephen Strange and then got thrown into a oncoming traffic.
Cool. That's a fate. That's the fate of that character. He shouldn't have said Hail Hydra, bro.
I know, man.
It's his own fault.
out
Yep,
for
it
Gary
did not.
Shandling.
It did not. I don't know. We'll see what happens from here.
That's gotta be weird.
It is.
No scroll reveal.
No, none of. Yeah, see, we were expecting.
Glad I was hoping. We said it several times. We didn't think there would be
because it would take away from.
We really wanted one.
Yeah. Do you think there'll be a scroll reveal in Spider-Man then?
I wanted no.
Why not?
But I just don't. I don't know. I mean, if it happens, I'll be totally fine with it.
What if one of the classmates who you thought was also snapped away
Fine with it.
is actually a scroll
Totally
the whole
fine.
time? And it's like, oh yeah, nah, they've been scrolled the whole time.
I want it to be that Fury gets killed in the movie,
And it's a scroll.
and he's a scroll the whole time.
How
That's
old's Mysterio supposed to be in this film?
51.
No, seriously.
I have no idea. How old is Jake Gyllenhaal?
Isn't he like mid-late 30s?
Then I would say Mysterio is mid-late 30s.
Okay.
We don't have any of his backstory, but I'm gonna assume he's Mysterio, so he's full of shit, and he's got some tech that makes it easier for him to pull off being full of shit. .com.
Interesting stuff.
Yeah, hell of. I'm sure we're going to have forgotten something.
Most likely. Did you say everything you've written down?
I really wanted to mention Loki.
Okay, you did
go
that?
to the
You
portal.
mentioned that?
I really wanted to mention how weird it is, the Spider-Man and all his friends getting snapped together.
Yeah, I was
immediately.
always like, that's bizarre.
So I mean, we're only assuming the trip he
Right.
goes on is a field trip. It could be a like, hey, we're all alive again. Let's go on vacation.
Mm-hmm.
It could be that instead. Which,
But then
you
why
know,
would
it's fine.
why
Maybe
would you
half his friends are in college, so for the summer they're all just going on a trip together.
to visit him? Yeah, that's weird.
You know, who knows?
It's got to be a school thing because there's no way he'd like hang out with Flash because Flash is an idiot to him.
He's an idiot to him. That is true.
Like, why would you hang out with somebody who's always an asshole?
I don't know, man. I should ask some of my friends.
Do you know what I mean, though? Like, they go on a trip to Europe, and you've got this one prick who's always just a fucking prick.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. I'd be like, nah, I'm done, man. You guys can go enjoy yourselves. This guy's a fucking asshole. I don't need to be around that.
It's because
Overseas.
he likes Spider-Man, though, man.
It doesn't care, but he's still a prick to you.
He can't be all bad.
He should go there as
he
Spider-Man and
likes
say, you're a
Spider-Man.
fucking idiot.
He should do that. He should have went to what's her face's party and be like, Flash,
Yeah.
you're a doo-doo, and Spider-Man's gonna steal your car in a little while.
That'd be weird if he actually referred to himself as Spider-Man.
Or it would have been cool if he referred to himself as
So
Spider-Man.
he's always speaking as from third person.
Yeah, he's like The Rock.
Cool.
He's the Spider-Man. And life's just a great big hang-up where you'll find the Spider-Man. We did it. Anyways, that's it, I guess.
Watch the movie, guys. I'm
We
sure you
talked
have.
about Endgame, quantum suits,
Yeah.
Jim particles.
Yep.
I don't know what else we
If we
would've
missed anything, bring it up and in the
Yeah, bring up
comments.
your
Or
favorite
if we remember anything, we'll probably record something.
Love that Korg and Meek made an appearance.
Also, bro, actually, now I remember. This is what I was hoping for from the bloody start. I think I might have mentioned this previous episode. I want to hear Captain America's theme again, and we did.
When did it happen?
Huh?
When did it happen?
Bloody when the shield was given to him. That was the first time we played it.
I don't remember. I don't even
What?
remember.
You hear da, 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 and I was like, oh, thank you.
Captain America.
And it was played again later, a little bit later. But I was like, I'm so glad it went back to that because I missed that theme.
Me too, man.
I
I like
missed
that
it, man.
they seem like they were made sure to include everybody's theme again. Like I liked hearing Iron Man's theme when he's doing the Iron Man stuff in 2012, and Spider-Man. You got to hear his Spider-Man theme.
Soundtrack.
Ant-Man, you got some.
Everybody. The soundtrack is on Spotify, and I've been listening to it. It's really good.
Nice. I have not been listening to it, but maybe I will.
It's a good one.
Maybe I will. I've just been blasting that sick ass new Henshin Hero theme song all day.
Oh,
So.
you're gonna play it now?
No, because I can't remember what's number.
Next episode, then maybe. I should put up an ad on just a random ad. Have that at the background.
Once you have some art for it.
Yeah, I'm gonna start drawing that tomorrow, most likely.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, so yeah, we did it. Infinity War.
Let us know your
Endgame.
thoughts, guys. Did you guys like it?
Done.
What
Let us
didn't you
know
like?
your favorite moments,
Yes.
your biggest questions in
Yes.
the comments below. And until the next one,
Cap with
guys,
the hammer, legit.
stay chipper, chaps.
Stay chipper.